Hi, I'm Sandy Ray, founder of Sandra E. Ray, CPA, where we alleviate financial headaches so that you can create a bigger impact. Today we have with us Dave Ketterer. We're so glad to have him back. Today we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence developments and how they affect nonprofit organizations. Dave is the president of CD's IT Consulting, which he started in 1994. As president of CD's IT Consulting, Dave manages a team that works with small businesses, trade associations, and not-for-profits to provide them with technology solutions to solve their business problems. Outside of work, Dave enjoys spending time with his family and friends, bowling, golfing, and watching his favorite local sports team, which I know is the Colts, right, Dave?
Yep, Colts. It may not be a good season this year, but here's hoping.
Well, let's not worry about that right now. We'll just keep our fingers crossed.
Right.
So, Dave, tell us what actually is artificial intelligence.
Basically, artificial intelligence is designed by humans, but it's designed to help humans do tasks that are repetitive or to help them analyze data, especially with the current form of AI, which is called generative AI. With some of the tools like ChatGPT out there, they can actually do all kinds of things like write cover letters for you, write emails for you, chat with you. Like if you're on a website, if you have like come up and ask you questions, that's actually AI in the background actually answering the questions as you type in for customer service. So the usages of AI over the past couple of years have exploded with the increase in the knowledge of us as humans and the usage of the technology and advancing the technology. So you have more usages of it in actually real world cases.
Wow. So you mentioned a few of them. What are some other business applications that we might be using AI to help us with?
Say, Google uses AI, so probably everybody uses that every day at some point in time to search for stuff. I guess this isn't necessarily a business application, but I guess it could be. Alexa's AI, Siri's AI on your phone, all those things. Microsoft is starting to put AI into their applications. So if you're typing like in a Word document, if you notice that it guesses what you might, or even email, you're typing, it's guessing what you might want to type next. That's Microsoft putting AI into their product to help you speed up your process of responding to people as you're typing. Like I said, they're using it business applications as far as customer service on websites to as those little bot things that you see in the corner that come up. That's being used a lot more, and it's actually more helpful than it used to be previously. It was a lot of times it wouldn't give you very good answers to the questions you're asking. Now it's a little bit better because the technology is increased in its usefulness as it has evolved. So you're actually getting better answers, and sometimes you can get it all taken care of by AI versus having to have a human be involved to help you.
Great. So how can our nonprofits benefit from AI?
Some of the things that I think that the nonprofits could use for AI is you can do things like generate marketing content that you can put on your website. You can tell it to, hey, write a flyer to promote our golf outing that's coming up, and you give it all the details, and they can actually create a flyer for you for your event that you're going to have. That's one thing usage you can use it for. You can use it for analyzing data, like if you're trying to look at trends in membership or in your donations, you can use it to analyze the data that you have. You can use it to respond to emails, automated response to emails based on the questions that are coming in. It can be used for all those types of things.
Well, that sounds like that really will increase our productivity. But what kind of challenges are we going to face if we delve into the world of AI or be dragged into it in my
Right.
case?
Probably the biggest challenge is actually getting your head wrapped around what all it could potentially do for you. One of the things, at least on the Chat GPT side, it's actually not using the internet for its content. The content has already been all dumped into this massive database of information that you ask for, and it'll then create the content for you based on what you ask it. Now, you still have to review it, because it's not always accurate, because you can ask it a question about something, and if may or may not know the exact answer, it'll put something in there anyway, regardless if it's right or not. So that's one of the challenges. It could be inaccurate because it's based on humans entering that data into that humongous database that it's using to pull this information to put together for you. So that's one of the bigger challenges. And also, since unfortunately we as humans have inherent biases, whether they're conscious or unconscious, that's also one of the concerns, is that the AIs of the world are still going to have bias in their responses. Because I was just reading some stuff about lending and stuff and how they're trying to use it in the lending industry, and they're trying to remove the biases of allowing people to get loans. But since humans are actually putting this information into the AI, they still are concerned that you're going to still end up with the same biases and stuff. So that's one of the concerns that people have about it.
Wow. So that kind of leads us into the next question. Are there any ethical concerns in using AI?
The bias thing is one of the things. Right now, it's not regulated at all by the government, although I'm sure at some point that's going to change because of the broadness of the usage of it. And I mean, with the way the businesses are starting to use it on a regular basis for all kinds of different things, integrating into their stuff, the government's going to have to come in and make sure that the companies that are designing these AIs are doing it with the utmost of security is top of mind, and privacy is top of mind, and ethics are top of mind. Now, the big players have loosely gotten together and said that they will design their AIs going forward with those things top of mind, but that's self-regulated. So you don't know whether or not they're going to actually adhere to that, because I mean, Google says they don't share your information, blah blah blah. Well, that's not necessarily true. So I mean, they're one of the players, in Microsoft and ChatGPT and Amazon, Facebook, all those places. But yeah, that's probably the biggest concern, is trying to get it under wrap, or not necessarily under wraps, but under some sort of control where it's not out of control and we don't end up with like the Terminator type situation.
Hopefully that's an extreme.
Yes, yes. The AI is nowhere near at that level as far as the machines taking over, but it's trending we're getting to the point where we're using it more and more and more into everyday stuff. I mean, the automated cards that are out there, that type of stuff. You've seen on the news where there's been issues with those, where they've caused wrecks because people aren't paying, they're not actually driving, they're letting the cars do it, and they don't interpret something properly like a human would. So it's still not completely there yet, but it's moving in that direction, and everybody's trying to develop stuff so it's better and better.
So it's exploding. So you kind of mentioned a little bit privacy and security issues. What are some things that we need to keep in mind with privacy and security?
If you're going to use it to design content, you need to make sure that you're going to review that content before you actually publish it, to make sure it meets your privacy policy as far as whatever content it is, whether it's marketing material or it's automated responses to email, or if you're putting a customer service chat bot on your website. You need to make sure that how it's set up and how you train it meets the privacy policy in your organization. Now, from a security standpoint, it's probably not necessarily on your end. It's unfortunately the hackers, and they're actually using AI to find ways to get into your organization, because it knows how to write scripts to get into stuff. I actually told it to write a PowerShell script, and it told it exactly how to do it. And I read it right back, and it was right. So and I just told it what to do, and it generated it for me. So the hackers are able to do that as well. The bad guys are able to. I mean, it's good in a sense for people like us to be able to do that, but it's also on the bad side, on the security side, it can be a security issue because the hackers can do it too.
Me personally, I get all kinds of emails that say, click here to, you've received a payment, click here.
Well, yeah, I get those too. I mean, I don't get that many. My spam filter's pretty good, but there's still some to get through. And yeah, I mean, they're pretty obvious, but they're also using AI to generate those fake emails too, to make them look more and more legit to try and fool you. So that's another concern about using AI, or not using AI, but having AI out there.
hmm hmm Yeah, you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
So if we're going to use AI, is it expensive? I mean, you've mentioned some places that are using it that we can get access to.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on what your use case is, because products that you purchase are using AI, depending on what products. Like if you put a chat bot to do customer service on your website, that company is using AI to drive that chatbot. So in a sense, you're paying for it, but not directly. But
Okay.
if you actually sign, like if you just go to ChatGPT and sign up for an account and use not the latest version, the previous version, it's actually free.
Okay.
You're not actually charged for it. So if you just go in there and ask it a question, there's no cost to use it, just to do that type of stuff. Now, if you're going to get more advanced, you want it to generate images for you, make sound for you, that there's cost to that. And their website spells that out, how much it costs per usage and stuff like that. And if you're actually going to go to the extent where you're actually going to do your own, which I'm guessing probably most not-for-profits aren't going to do, as far as building it into an application that you have, that would cost you money, because you're going to have programmers and stuff like that try to integrate it and stuff. And you might have to, if you're going to do like some sort of number crunching of data, there's going to be a cost to that. You would have to probably step up what they call the pro version, so you get more functionality to be able to do that type of stuff versus just asking it basic questions and having to generate content for you.
So I'm not going to lose my job right away.
No, you're not going to lose your job. I mean, that's a lot of people's fears, that you're going to lose their jobs. There's still going to have to be humans. Like I said, it's not 100% perfect. So you still got to have a human. If you're using to generate content, you're basically saving whoever would have normally generated that content mainly on their own time from the generation process, but they then need to review the content. You still have to have a human review that after it's been generated to make sure it's actually accurate before you actually publish it anywhere.
Yeah. We experience that a lot with QuickBooks Online and the bank feeds, where, QuickBooks really does try to, based upon how we categorize things, categorize the transactions that come through. But like you said, it really does require a human being to.
Right. Yeah. So they're using AI at that level to guess that for you. So yeah.
So they may be doing the grunt work, but we still need to
Right.
be.
You still got to have a human to make sure it's actually right.
Okay. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, and I think I know the answer to that. Are there any regulations currently on AI and how it's being used, and anything that we need to know on that front?
Yeah, there's no official government regulation. Like I said, there's a loose agreement just with the largest players out there. They've come basically said, I don't know if it's a pact or what they actually called it, the exact term they use, but they all agreed that they would design their AI, generative AI, to have security as top of mind, as well as privacy as top of mind. And as they're moving forward with their AI applications forward and their usage. But right now, I don't know that there's any legislation pending,
Okay.
but there will be. I mean, the legislators got to get their heads wrapped around what it actually means and what its potential to society is before they can do any kind of regulation. At least I hope that they do, and they don't just do something by the seat of their pants thinking they know what it is, which unfortunately they've done a lot sometimes with technology, because they don't necessarily understand it. And they don't get into the weeds and try to get some sort of real good understanding of it before they try to do regulation on our industry.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. The same with the accounting and tax kind of things as
Right.
well. Well, thank you, Dave. This has been very informative. Is there any last words that you want to leave us with as far as AI and using that in our nonprofit organization?
I guess my final word would say I would suggested have somebody in your organization go to sign up for a free ChatGPT account and just play with it and see what you ask it questions and see what kind of results you get and see if you can think about how you could use that in your organization in some fashion, whether it's for generating content or answering emails or whatever, sending rejection letters, sending letters out to your donors to request money from them. You can have them create a letter for that. I mean, you can do all kinds of things, but just play with it and see what things you can think of that you can use it in your organization.
Well, that's wonderful. I know for me, AI seems really mysterious, but I hope that Dave has been able to shed some light on this and how you can benefit in your organization by using AI. I want to thank you for joining us today. And remember that creating a bigger impact starts with stopping the nonsense. If you're dealing with nonsense in your nonprofit organization, we'd love to help you cut through the noise.